of the agenda that was amended as well, like they all kind of fit together. These are parcels that are being acquired as part of the nature preserve in that area, with the intent with a significant amount of grant funding that the township has received to turn that into a nature preserve park with kind of a dog park component as well. And the necessity for those three purchases was to kind of consolidate the land in the back part of the property that, the land abutting the parcel that the township already had acquired and owned previously, and expanding that for the purposes of stormwater management and to just have it be kind of a holistic parcel for the project. So this fits into the big picture plan for preserving green space in that area. As you know, it's already pretty built out in certain parts with evergreen apartments right there. And I think that, that park and nature preserve will serve a lot of folks in the existing Woodgate neighborhood and in those apartments. So that's the role for item F in new business. And we've actually been talking about acquiring these parcels, honestly, probably since a month after I started on the board. And it's just been a back and forth in terms of negotiating and getting to the right price with property owners. Not using eminent domain, but having kind of a very open process with the individual landowners. I don't know if Jim Matthews, law director, could elaborate a little bit on the township's legal authority to make these types of purchases, because
sure.
it wasn't intuitive to me when I started on the board that this was something that we did. So.
Yeah, Riley's done a good job explaining what the purchase is about and where. I can tell you too that what the board started was the process to take the properties by eminent domain. They declared that necessity back in whatever it was, June or July of last year. The one parcel of property that is the CEI parcel that kind of rests between the UHAS and the Albano property, because CEI is itself an authority that has eminent domain power, you can't take that parcel, so that's going to remain the CEI. But it was a logical extension, like Riley explained, on the dog park property to have these properties that are adjacent to the turnpike. And so I think it is a logical extension of that parcel, kind of completes them, provides for the stormwater management as well as open space that Riley mentioned to you. And fortunately then, even though the board had declared the necessity to do the take, the board was not required to proceed all the way through a take because the property owners were willing to voluntarily sell the properties.
Right.
So that's what we were completing through these two agreements.
Right. And these were, at least part of these were orphaned by the turnpike too.
Oh, that's exactly right. Yeah, these properties are actually, orphan's a good term. They lie right there to the south of the turnpike, above the dog park property, have no other roadway access or ingress, egress. And that was one of the reasons I think we were able to negotiate a reasonable price for each of the properties.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Another question.
Yeah.
I want to find out which parcel you're talking about.
Sure. I can probably point it out too.
Yeah.
This is the one that is on the agenda. This is the Cleveland Illuminate.
Yep.
This is, you said, the albino one?
Yeah, I think these are the dog park properties.
Yeah.
And the township actually already owns this little sliver over here. This is UHAS.
Yeah.
CEI is excluded. Yeah. And then we have the two albinos.
These are two?
Yeah.
She said something about Hammond.
Hammond is UHAS.
Yeah,
they're
together.
Their Hammond is UHAS. They're
This one
together.
doesn't even touch the dog.
Well, it will by extension of having this one.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the
Yeah.
price that's in the agenda, is that what's paid for all of them or only one?
10,000 each.
On each. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ray, did you have something to add?
What I was looking at, I looked at satellite everything. The property which is in that's by the turnpike, that's for the stormwater, correct?
Right.
Now the stormwater can go east or west? When get by the turnpike, going east or west? I don't know.
Yeah, I was discussing that earlier, if I can just interrupt here. I believe it goes west. There was some thought about whether it goes east to the roadway, that Stearns that comes down there.
Yeah.
But I believe it goes to the west.
I hope it's going to the west because
Yeah.
what I saw on the agenda, they passed
No.
They fixing the property by the turnpike where it's Westfield.
Yeah.
And this water is, if it come from there, right now we have enough flooding. If their water, 30 acres, gonna come this way,
Right.
more to the east, gonna have more.
Right.
Yeah, that's,
Well, yeah, the goal is to make it better,
that's,
not
that's precisely why it became a
I
question.
wanna make sure that it's not coming to the east.
Yeah, absolutely.
So going to the west, where does it go?
There's a creek.
Yeah, if I may, there's a culvert at the turnpike right at those parcels. I have it on.
How far down?
What's that?
How far down?
Well, I can tell you the parcel number. That's the parcel from the CEI. Between that parcel and to the west is UHAS. There's a culvert, pipe, and a creek that goes under the turnpike. So I think the goal is to mitigate as much stormwater to that property and to nowhere else.
Where does that
That's our
creek go?
What's that?
Where does that creek go?
It goes to the culvert on the creek pipe and under the tank.
To where? Is that, I know, but it heads toward Bagley, those people are all flooded up there too.
They have it on this.
I will find it out.
No, nothing's gonna
I mean,
change.
anytime, never used to, I've been out here for 41 years, same house. And front yard was the only one that really flooded. And when everybody started doing everything, all this building and everything, now you go down Bagley Road and every front yard on Bagley Road is flooded.
Yes, include that.
And you guys have got sewers put in on Bagley, and they ain't doing squat for those people. Their yards are actually worse.
West end, east.
East of Jennings and west, there's water, but east of Jennings, all those people's front yards are flooded. It's because you guys left the road higher than their front yards, for starters. Bagley is higher, and it all goes right in their yards. You can
Well,
put
not
up-
to deflect,
what,
but
huh?
say the county.
What's it? Well, I don't know.
County,
Somebody I think from the township should watch it.
I'm currently working with the county to rectify the road flooding at the high school, which has been a problem far before myself.
You guys keep moving it around.
And that's why this is all part of our discussions with the county force account agreement and updating that, increasing the amount of things that Eric can do on these county roads to do things that mitigate flooding and maintain ditches in a way that isn't currently reflected.
Ditches don't get maintained.
Yeah. I agree, and this is
41
something
years,
we're
I've got a ditch,
actively
only
working.
got cleaned once, and that's because I screamed and hollered and got a petition together, and a policeman came down and cleaned it.
Yeah, well, this is, Eric and I have talked about this, you know, for as long as I've been on the board, and it's something that we're seeking to do better at in terms of working with the county to maintain these roads, because we understand that, you know, it doesn't make any difference to the property owner whether it's a local road or.
Take care of the
Okay.
problem first. Because if you guys keep building and building and building, the water, you don't have any natural floodways for the water anymore. It's all concrete.
Those 30 acres, even where it's the dog park, there's been sitting water there. The ditch and Shady I've been driving up, but they closed that bridge. I've been driving that way, been sitting water all the way in the ditch. It's a lot of water. It's not like a little water. It's a lot of water.
Yeah.
And that's how as a,
You need to get out now and treat for the mosquitoes. They're gonna be coming next.
that's how
Okay, I'm gonna move on, to trustee reports.